everybody, this is Bobby with bobbystamps.blogspot.com. I'm going to show you today how I made this cute card, and we're only going to be using one ink pad. I made this for my sister-in-law. She just recently had surgery, so this is going to go in the mail to her. I am going to finish the inside so we can write a little note to her. It's my husband's sister, and she lives out of state, so I just wanted her to know that we love her and that we've been thinking about her the last couple of weeks. So the cardstock that we're going to use today is Sahara Sand is going to be our card base. We're going to use the Designer Series paper, and this is out of the Neutrals collection, the one with the writing on it. This one is cut at 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to use Very Vanilla. This piece is cut by 3 3/4 by 5. And then we have another piece of the Designer Series paper, and this one's cut at 2 by 3 1/4. We're going to stamp our flower on Very Vanilla, and this is 3 by 4. And then our sentiment is going to go on Very Vanilla, and it is 2 1/2 by 1 1/4. The only ink that we're going to use today is Crumb Cake. We're going to use the Versamark because we're going to be doing some embossing. We're going to use the copper embossing powder. We're going to use the trim, I think it's called Very Vanilla lace trim ribbon. I'm going to use a sponge, and then we're going to use our embossing buddy. The stamp sets that we're going to get our flower out of the Remarkable You stamp set, and this is 2 sets, so you get both of these when you purchase the stamp set. Our sentiment is coming out of the Thoughts and Prayers, and this is another double one, you get 2. We're going to use the Wishing You a Quick and Complete Recovery, Get Well Soon. And then for our background, we're using Timeless Textures, of course. So we will go ahead and bring in our biggest piece of Very Vanilla, and I am going to just put a little piece of scrap paper on here. I don't want to get my piercing mat messed up. The only 3 stamp sets that I'm really using out of this is this one, the little like half circle one, and then the Flourish is the one we're going to use. But we are going to do a lot of stamping off, so I'm going to just grab me another piece of paper. I'm going to try to move the cord of my camera and hopefully not unplug it or make it move. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to ink that up and then stamp off, and then I'm just going to go all the way around, and then I just keep stamping off each time. Okay, and that's good for that. Then we're going to, I'm going to go ahead and bring this in and just kind of randomly just do it all the way down. Just because I want a full coverage is why I'm doing that. Clean that off. And then we'll bring in the circle. And you just randomly, because a lot of this is going to be hid, but you still want it to be seen from the outside, the trim. So we'll use our Flourish, and we'll just bring that in around the edge as well. I'm just trying not to go over, you know, any of the circles that we've already done. Just randomly put it on there. Then we're going to use our sponge, and I really like this to be heavy. So I'm going to go really in instead of just doing, I want it to be on top. you just keep going around and you just keep layering until you get the look that you're going for. And I'm just going to go back around with that because I really want this dark. Kind of makes it look distressed. Okay, that's good for now. So we'll go ahead and lay this to the side, and then the piece that we're going to stamp our flower on, we're gonna do the same way. So we'll just bring this in, okay, and then I'm just going to go back in and touch up those corners that got missed, like so. And then I'm going to not put so much in the middle because that's where our flower's going to be. So we want to kind of be careful. I am going to take this and kind of just sponge the center of it. But like I said, we don't want to do too much because we want our flower to be our main focus when we do this. So we'll go ahead and grab this one again and just really work around the edge on doing these because we, you know, like I said, we don't want to get in the way of showing up our flower. Then we'll bring in the flourish again and kind of bring it in. Like so. Okay, I think that's good enough. And we can go back in because when I first made the card, I'll be honest with you, I stamped this first and embossed it and then went back in and did these things around it. So you can do it that way. We're going to do the same thing around this edge. Okay, we'll just lay that out of the way. Then we're going to bring in our piece that we're going to do our sentiment on, and you have to use a very, very light hand when doing this or your sentiment is not going to show up. So I actually stamped off twice when I came back in. So you want to stamp off twice because you just want just a very, very light coverage on this, and then just barely get the corners of your sentiment in there, like so. And then for the ring, stamp off twice, and that should be good. And then you guessed it, we're going to go back in and around the edges of this. Just ink that up really well too. I just love this card. I just love how it turned out. I like this look of cards. I haven't made too many of them like this, but I really like the way this one turned out. I'm going to go ahead and cover this up, and we might have to go back in and do some touch up, but if we do, we will. And then again, we may not have to. So we'll get that out of the way. I'm going to move this out of the way. And I think we're done with that. Now we will bring in the piece that we're going to stamp our flower on. We're going to take our embossing buddy. We don't want any fingerprints on that if we can help it. Grab our flower. And just make sure that we get a lot of our Versamark on that. Make sure it's inked up really well. And then we're just going to stamp it right in the center, like so. Don't want to rock back and forth, but you do want to give it a good push down. Take that off. I'm going to bring in my scrap piece of paper here. Go ahead and turn it since I have it stamped. We'll just lay that there. And then I was going to go ahead and do my sentiment, but I think for right now we'll just do the flower and come back and do the sentiment in a little bit. Okay. And then I like to look, I keep a little paintbrush, and then if any embossing powder gets where I don't want it, I can just brush it off. And I think that looks kind of good there. So I'm going to go ahead and dump this back in my tub, and I'm going to go ahead and we'll ink up the sentiment, and that way we can just emboss them both at the same time. So make sure we get that good and inked up. Make sure our paper's turned correctly, and then we're just going to center it and then pull that off. Bring this piece of paper back in and just dump some of the embossing powder all over the sentiment. And I forgot to use the embossing buddy, so hopefully we're going to be okay since I didn't ink that off. Okay, put the lid on that before I spill it. And then we will heat emboss this. It takes a little bit of time for your gun to heat up. Once it does, it'll start melting that powder right away. You can kind of see, there it goes. You guys can see it. Just want to make sure you get it all melted. And it does get hot, so watch your fingers when you're doing this. You guys see how pretty that is? Look how pretty that is. I love it. And then we'll just bring in our sentiments. It's kind of hot, so I'm going to turn it. Okay guys, there you go. How cute does that look? It's kind of a monochromatic look, I think, because all the colors just blend so well together. Okay, so now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and start putting the card together. So we'll just grab some Tombow glue, and we'll just put a little bit of adhesive of the glue. I like using snail or the Tombow glue. The Tombow glue I like because it lets me correct my mistakes if I don't get it centered properly or the way that I like it. So we'll just put that on there like that. Just make sure that you're paying attention and you're putting your writing the correct way. And then we'll just grab this piece. Oops. And put some glue on that. And then just center that on top of the next bottom layer. Okay. And then we're going to put this piece on next. And it just goes on with adhesive too. More Tombow glue. And then I kind of just put it towards the center like so. And then we'll grab our ribbon and just measure it, make sure that we have enough to go around the back. Grab some tape, and I just kind of put it towards the bottom, I guess. And you can just kind of eyeball it until you get it where you want it. But kind of like around the bottom of the stem is where I put it. Don't put it too tight because you don't want it to pull on your cardstock, the front of it, like that. And then we're going to pop this one up on dimensionals. I have been super busy today. I'm expecting to get my Jar of Love class in the mail on Tuesday and get those all repackaged and put in the mail. So today I filmed my video, the private video that everybody will get emailed, the instructions for the class kit. Visit my blog if you guys are interested in taking any of my classes. They're pretty fun. And it's a nice way to get to know everybody and stamp with everybody and make new friends. I have met so many nice people since I started Stampin' Up! And become a demonstrator. You really make friends and feel like you get to know everybody that takes your classes, and I just love it. I just love sharing. I love doing this and just sharing it with everybody. And so I kind of like wanted a three-dimensional look too with that. So there you go, guys. There's the card. Really super quick, super easy. Make sure that you visit my blog. It's bobbystamps.blogspot.com. I try to post daily. Sometimes I don't make it on there every day, but I try to do 1 or 2 videos a week and post some new cards. It really depends on how busy my schedule is. Like this week I was really busy with work and then trying to get my class kits together and design my next cards for my next class, and I'm going to be putting a new drawing up tomorrow for a giveaway, so make sure that you visit my blog every Monday. I try to announce the winner from the previous week on either Sunday or Monday. I didn't get around to it today, so I'll probably announce it in the morning. I'm thinking about drawing the name live on Facebook, so make sure that you just follow me on all the social medias so that way you never miss any of my cards. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. You need a catalog, just email me. I'll put one in the mail, and if you're interested in taking one of my classes, you can visit my blog. I'll be posting it. I'm going to wait until Tuesday because I'm expecting something special for my next class. It's going to be fresh fruit, and there's something that I'm going to just include in that class kit for everybody. We normally make 4 cards, and we are going to make 4 cards in this one, but there's going to be an additional, a cute little thing that you can make. I don't want to give it away, so we'll just say that. But make sure you visit my blog, guys, and thanks for stopping by today. Bye-bye.